The Neighbor Who Stole My Garage, A Tale of Deception and Justice. It was a crisp September morning when I, James Whitaker, a 52-year-old software engineer, discovered something that would unravel my quiet suburban life. I'd lived on Maple Lane for 2 years, in a modest home with a 2-car garage that housed my cherished 2023 Ford Mustang and a 1989 Chevy Camaro I'd been restoring. That garage was my sanctuary, a place where I tinkered with engines and escaped the grind of my tech job downtown. But that Tuesday, when I returned home at 10 a.m. to grab a forgotten phone charger, I found my garage door slightly ajar, something I never left unchecked. Thanks to my near-obsessive attention to home security, a habit inherited from my father, a retired sheriff. As I crept closer, strange sounds drifted out, soft meditation music, heavy breathing, and an occasional grunt. My pulse quickened. Was this a break-in? I peered through the gap and froze. There, between my Mustang and workbench, was my neighbor, Margaret Sullivan, 55, twisted into a yoga pose on a mat spread across my concrete floor. She wore neon green leggings and a faded sports bra, her graying hair in a messy bun, completely oblivious to me. Margaret lived across the street with her teenage son, Ethan. We'd exchanged polite waves, maybe a brief chat about lawn care, but nothing more. She always seemed frazzled, complaining about money, yet oddly free during the day. I watched, dumbfounded, as she rolled up her mat and strolled out, closing the garage door with a Remotomy remote. The audacity hit me like a punch. How long had she been sneaking into my garage? How did she get that remote? I checked the space and found scuff marks from her mat, a pile of hair ties, and my tools slightly rearranged. Fury bubbled up, but I'm a measured man. I decided to investigate before confronting her. I installed a hidden camera, changed the garage door code, and added locks. The next day, I called in sick and watched from my living room. At 9:45 a.m., Margaret appeared in blinding orange yoga gear, glanced around, and used a remote to open my garage. I recorded everything. For an hour, she treated my space like her personal studio, even sipping from my mini fridge. The violation felt personal, a betrayal of the trust I'd placed in this quiet neighborhood. Digging deeper, I called my friend Tom, a home security expert. He reminded me of the cleaning service I'd hired when I moved in, Spotless Solutions. A call to their manager revealed that Ethan, Margaret's son, had worked there briefly and was fired for stealing. The pieces clicked. Ethan had swiped a remote and given it to his mother. This wasn't just trespassing, it was a family scheme. I planned to confront Margaret on Monday, recording the encounter. At 9:43 a.m., she arrived in neon pink, setting up a mini shrine with candles and crystals. I stepped into the garage, startling her mid-pose. "Excuse me," I said sharply. Her face twisted not with guilt, but annoyance. "What are you doing here, James? You're supposed to be at work." I laughed, incredulous. "This is my garage, Margaret. What are you doing here?" She sighed, as if I were the unreasonable one. "I've been using this space for months. It's got perfect energy for yoga. Surely you value spiritual growth over parking a car." I started recording. "You're trespassing," I said. She scoffed, calling it sharing community space and admitting she found the remote, claiming finders keepers. The argument escalated. Margaret accused me of being selfish, then let slip a racist jab. "People like you always obsess over property rights." Her words stung, revealing a prejudice I hadn't suspected. When I demanded she leave, or I'd call the police, she laughed hysterically. "Go ahead. I'll tell them you're harassing a single mother trying to find peace. Who'll they believe?" Then, in a stunning move, she dialed 911, claiming I was threatening her and recording her illegally. Officer Daniel Brooks arrived, a seasoned cop with a no-nonsense demeanor. Margaret launched into a tearful performance, calling my garage a community yoga space and accusing me of stalking her. I showed Brooks the security footage and our recorded conversation. His expression hardened as he watched Margaret's casual trespassing. "Ma'am, this is private property," he said. She doubled down, insisting she had community permission and accusing me of racism for not wanting a white woman in my space. Brooks wasn't swayed. He arrested her for trespassing and theft, despite her shrieking about knowing the police chief. As he cuffed her, Margaret's mask slipped. She hissed, "This isn't over, James. I know everything about you, your job, your debts, your dating life." Her words chilled me. She claimed to have friends who fed her information, detailing my financial struggles and private matters. Brooks stepped in, adding a charge for terroristic threats. At the station, Brooks warned me to check my accounts. Detective Laura Kim from the Cybercrime Unit later revealed the horrifying truth. Margaret, whose real name was Susan Caldwell, was a disgraced FBI agent fired 12 years ago for unauthorized surveillance. She'd been running a blackmail operation, targeting me and 6 other neighbors with detailed files on our finances, habits, and secrets. She'd used fake social media profiles, keyloggers, and even rifled through our trash to gather dirt. But the worst was yet to come. Susan wasn't just a criminal, she was a racist predator. She systematically targeted successful black professionals like me, aiming to ruin our finances and reputations to drive us out of white neighborhoods. My file was labeled Priority Target, High-Value Displacement. She'd done this to 30 families across 4 cities, using her FBI training to orchestrate harassment campaigns disguised as neighborly disputes. Her fatal mistake? Keeping meticulous records in a file called Project Purity, detailing every crime. It was a 12-year confession, outlining her mission to preserve community standards. Federal charges piled up: wire fraud, identity theft, hate crimes, and conspiracy. Prosecutors called it a major domestic terrorism case, with Susan facing life in prison. As I left the station, relief washed over me. By standing firm and documenting her crimes, I'd not only protected myself but stopped a predator who'd terrorized dozens. Susan's fake identity crumbled, her schemes exposed. Justice was served, and I felt proud knowing my actions spared others her wrath. Yet, I couldn't shake the question: how many other Susan Caldwells are out there, hiding behind smiles while plotting destruction? The fight for fairness continues, but for now, my garage is mine again, and Susan's reign of terror is over. What do you think about this story? Have you ever faced injustice or entitlement in your community? Share your thoughts in the comments, especially on how we confront violence and unfairness in everyday life. Let's hear your stance.